Bingo. Let me plug our sound in.
All right. Hey, look at that. I didn't even have to. And I popped up there. I don't know why it does sometimes and sometimes it doesn't.
See if we got any. This is your new experience.
Yeah, the new Facebook experience.
It's working.
Yeah, we got sound. Somebody was in here messing with everything over the vacation.
That would never
Both of the mics were on and completely dead. All right.
See, people are already watching. Let's go.
Yeah.
Riley J. Snow.
Yeah.
Welcome, Riley.
Welcome, yeah. I can't see the names, but my cameraman can.
Riley Snow's the one I can see.
Oh, yeah. Got 3 I see, but...
Yep.
So we'll give a minute for people to join us, like we always do.
Feels like a Monday.
Yeah. I keep getting confused about what day it is. Yeah. So, yeah, we're just giving a minute for people to join us. Hi, Angie.
Other than dealing with teenagers, what did you do for your Labor Day?
I just spent the weekend out at the camper. Smoked a big old pork roast, pork butt. Made a bunch of pulled pork one day. Had a slab of ribs yesterday. I spent most of my time grilling. And then dealing with the youth that doesn't know how to hold their liquor. They don't know how to start drinking at noon and make it last till midnight without getting stupid. Of course, I couldn't either, really. So,
You were that age?
yeah, well, drinking. You start drinking at noon. By midnight. No, that's why I quit drinking. So, yeah, it's day after Labor Day. We're back in the office. It rained most of the weekend here. It started raining Saturday night, and it didn't. It's still raining today. Mm-hmm. It hasn't really stopped for the last 4 days. I kind of feel like we're in Seattle or something. Yeah. So the lawn's getting its last round of growth before we'll probably put the lawnmowers away for the winter. I imagine a few more weeks it won't be growing anymore.
Right.
I see some of the leaves out by me are starting to change already. I'm seeing hints of red leaves popping up out of the trees already. So, won't be long. The squirrel, dove, and goose came in here last week. I haven't been out hunting yet, but some of my buddies have been out. Mike got out, and he got a bunch of geese. And I heard shots going off the other morning out at the camper. I could hear the volleys of shots going off. I figured the guys were out by the lake goose hunting. But yeah, so hope everybody had a good Labor Day, and hope everybody was safe and just had a good weekend. Despite, I hope your weather was wherever you were was better than ours. So doesn't look like we're gonna get a whole lot of people come join to play with us today. Everybody's still recovering. Yeah, still recovering. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about upgrading your AR today. It's still pretty brisk sales out there as far as gun sales go. The NICS checks are still up pretty high every month, so the gun market is pretty steadily and historically as high as it's ever been. And they say like 30% of all gun sales are an AR-related gun of some type, some platform, some model. And so a lot of guys are buying the Ruger 5.56s and the Smith & Wesson M&Ps, the standard off-the-shelf stuff that has your clamshell, plastic clamshell handguards. Pretty basic stuff, right? It's the mil-spec standard AR that everybody buys right now for $700 or $800. A few years ago, they were $500 or $600. You know, inflation has affected everything and everybody, right? The price of aluminum has gone unbelievably high, and the price of metal has also, for what compared to what it was historically, has gone unbelievably high. So that's obviously affected the price of the guns that we work with, because they are predominantly metal and aluminum. And so yeah, you know, you've had that AR 5.56 or that M&P for a little while, and you've decided you want to do some stuff to it, you know, and there's all kinds of really simple things you can do with a very basic tool set, you know, with a armorer's wrench, some Allen wrenches, just your basic wrenches, a vise. You know, you can do a lot of this stuff at home, right at your workbench. You know, some of the simplest things you can do, putting a red dot sight on your gun, right? I love red dot sights. Again, you know, we've talked about red dot sights before, how they the fast target acquisition, being able to acquire a target with both eyes open, keeping your peripheral vision open so that you can see what's happening all around you. And just like I said, I love being able to shoot both eyes open, that you can't always do with a magnified sight. And sometimes not even with traditional irons. I have been working pretty extensively to get better with my pistol with both eyes open, and it's a matter of focus, right? It's focusing through through the sights and at the target, and letting things become shadows, and trying to train your eye not to look at certain things, but to look through them. You know, red dots, $50-$60 on up to hundreds of dollars, whatever you want to spend. I bought this Osprey Global at a gun store or gun show a year or two ago. It was like $99. I've got a Sig Sauer. I don't have that one out here. I got a Sig Sauer with a that's just got the laser on it. I'll show that one here in a minute. I got a Sig Sauer with the magnifier. It's got the magnifier behind it and the red dot in front, so you can magnify your red dot. You know, that was about $300 for the combo. So, you know, easy upgrade that can be relatively inexpensive if you want it to be. Putting a new muzzle device on, right? Your AR comes with a standard birdcage flash hider. This is our version of the birdcage flash hider. A little different than a standard A2 flash hider, but you know, it's pretty basic. You know, maybe you want to put a muzzle device on, or you want to put a muzzle brake on, right? Something to give you some braking action, mitigate lift and recoil. The downside to a muzzle brake is they're extremely loud, right? You get a lot of concussion, not only at you, but at the people next to you. The people at the indoor range next to you might not like you so much. You know, this is simple, 3/4 inch wrench and a crush washer. You get a crush washer with, most times you get a crush washer with the muzzle device. We always sell a crush washer with our muzzle devices. You take your A2 off and you put a crush washer on, you put this on, and you time it so that the orientation of the holes is where it's supposed to be according to the manufacturer. They should give you a set of directions to tell you how to do that. But in these type of compensator type muzzle brakes, you always want to have, if there's holes in one side, the holes are generally always up, so that it helps push the gun back down. As the gas pushes up, it pushes the gun back down, and you want to have, obviously, the walls facing parallel to the gun, so that when the blast happens to as it expands against those walls, it's pulling the gun forward off of your shoulder. So you're getting recoil mitigation and rise mitigation out of a muzzle brake, but you're getting extra noise. You've got different styles of muzzle brakes, but they pretty much all do the same thing. They're all pretty much designed to do the same thing: mitigate, recoil, and rise. Very simple upgrade. Maybe you want to put a grip. Again, a very simple upgrade. This is our linear compensator. It's our new linear compensator. This is designed to kind of do three things. It busts up the flash. It's a flash hider. It has a little bit of braking action because it has a wall right here that the concussion, the blast buffers against, and it also pushes sound downrange away from the shooter. So the guys next to you at the range are going to like this one a little bit more than this. So you get braking, you get flash hiding. You don't get a lot of rise mitigation with this because it doesn't have holes in the top to push the gun back down, but you get that sound pushing away from you, which is kind of important with these loud little obnoxious pistols. And so grips, right? So maybe you want to put a grip on. Okay, maybe you like you want a vertical grip. Got 4-finger vertical grip, three-finger vertical grip. You say, what's the difference between the two? Obviously, one's shorter than the other, right? And the whole thing is with the 4-finger, you get your whole hand, right, and you're gripping. The 3-finger is designed for the guy that likes to shoot with his just using 3 fingers on the grip and gets his thumb up around the top of the handguard, right, using that C-clamp grip. So this, if this was the extended version, you'd grab the whole thing right here and be like this. With the C-clamp grip, you use the 3-finger model and you get that C-clamp grip with your thumb on top, which helps you push the gun back down, helping mitigate rise. Angled foregrip, right? Not allowed to put one of these on one of these. Can't have a vertical foregrip on a pistol. So what do? You put an angled foregrip on. There's no 90 degree. The ATF says that a vertical foregrip is 90 degrees from the bore. So this is 90 degrees from the bore. There's nothing on here that is 90 degrees from the bore. Everything has angles. So this is permissible, as well as the micro hand stop. The micro hand stop is designed, goes up front here. Okay. And what it does is it keeps you from getting your fingers up here into the danger zone. You're at the range, you're doing fast, you're training, whatever, and you reach up and you grab, and you're out here in front of this thing and you rack a round off. You're not going to have a good day. So, what's that? Right, you're used to, you're using a rifle, you're using a pistol, you're used to throwing your hand out there, grabbing out far, and all of a sudden you grab your pistol and you throw your hand out there, right? You train yourself to, grab this thing back further and slide your hand forward, and you come up against the hand stop, and that keeps you from entering that danger zone. And you can also use it much like a grip, right? I like to use them like a grip where I get one finger around them. Okay, instead of just pushing my hand up against it, I like to kind of drop it between, and I can use it to pull back in, and it keeps me, as I slide up to it, I wrap that finger around it, and I pull myself back in, and it gives me that steady. These are a couple of the easier external upgrades. A red dot, a grip, an angle foregrip, micro hand stop. Putting a new buttstock on, taking off the old A2 style buttstock. I don't have one. Should have been a little bit better. Yeah, here's one. Right, taking off this thing. Ugly, clunky, old looking thing and putting something kind of sleek and modular. Has a couple battery compartments in it. Gives you a little more versatility. Has a little bit of rubber pad on the back of it. This is the B5 Systems Bravo SOP mod. You want to get really into it. We've got our sling stock from our friends down at WMD Guns. This gun's too heavy to hold up. All right, and this has the built-in sling. And you attach it. And you've got your sling built right into the stock. Kind of a cool little feature. WMD Guns out of Stewart, Florida. Those are the easy external upgrades that you can do just about with anything, any of the spare tools you have at home. You start to get into now. You want to put lights and lasers on that gun, that M&P that you got. You want to put some different attachments on it. You want to do some different things. Those plastic clamshell handguards aren't going to work for you. You got to put a free float handguard on there. We've got we've probably done it 3 or 4 times over the years. We've got a bunch of videos on how to do that. We've got an upgrade kit for it. You'll need a couple more specialized tools. You'll need a bench block. You'll need a torque wrench. You'll need a set of punches. You'll need a set of pin guides. You'll need a couple different things to facilitate that. But it's real easy. It's one of the most common upgrades, and it's also the one that you start telling the guys how to do it, and they go, I don't know, that sounds like a lot of work. And it's really not. Once you've done it a couple times, you can do it in about 10-15 minutes. Usually it's a matter of knocking a couple of pins out, unbolting everything. The hardest part is usually getting the mil-spec barrel nut off. And you get a good armorer's wrench, and you shouldn't have any problem getting that off. Cheaper, less expensive armorer's wrenches obviously are going to give you a little trouble with that, but you get a good armorer's wrench, you shouldn't have any problem with that. Putting a free float handguard on, $70-$80 on up to $200-$300, whatever you want to spend. Again, it's budget, it's use, it's end in mind. What do you want the gun to do? What do you want it to look like when it's done? What do you want to put on it? Is going to kind of dictate where you go with your handguard choices. You start to get internal. We're going to look at drop-in triggers. Right? This is probably the what's the word? It's the best upgrade you can do for accuracy, to improve your accuracy. Mil-spec trigger has a lot of pull, has a lot of take-up, has a lot of grit. It's very heavy. A good drop-in trigger is going to be 3.5 to 4 pounds. It's not going to have any creep. It's going to have a crisp break. It's going to have a light reset. And it's going to do all those things that help improve your accuracy, because you're not pulling and waiting and anticipating that gun going off and waiting for the recoil and flinching, and you're not slapping the trigger. This is just a simple, you put enough pressure on the trigger until it breaks. Again, I've seen drop-in triggers on sale for $99 and on up to $300-$400, depending on where you get them and what you want to spend and what you want it to do. I got comments popping up here. Stock Bushmaster with the plastic. Yeah. Nothing left on that rifle but receivers. Yeah. I got a couple guns like that even the ones I've built over the I take this off, put that on, put this on, put that on, put that, take this off, take that off, put it on another gun. Next thing you know, it's nothing like what you started with. Yeah, the mod bug does bite hard. There's all kinds of once you get really crazy, right? You want a night vision scope, you want a bipod, you want a silencer. You know, there's just all kinds of stuff you can do. There's so many upgrades you can do, so many modifications you can do. That's the one, probably the biggest selling point of the AR platform is its modularity and the things that you can do to customize it. It's like owning a Harley. You know, you buy the stock Harley, and before you know it, you've got $10,000 worth of chrome and stereo and who knows what all. Right. So I bypassed all of that when I bought my Harley. I bought a used one that was already decked out. The guy had it before me, spent all the money on it. Probably didn't get it back out of, because when they look at values of motorcycles, they don't look at all that stuff that you did to it. You know, you go to buy a motorcycle or trade your motorcycle in, and they're like, well, we'll give you this for it. And you're like, well, I got $10,000 worth of upgrades on it. And they're like, we don't care. That's not what, that's not what the bike came with. They don't care about that kind of stuff. They're giving you what the value of the mechanical and the original bike was worth. You will get a little bit maybe for some of it, but you're certainly not going to get what you put into it. One nice thing about guns, you can usually get out of what you put into it because you're not trading it in at a dealership. Now, if there are gun stores and gun shops that will take trade-ins, and they're going to do the same thing to you. They're not going to give you the value of all the upgrades that you put into it. You're much better off selling that gun on the open market to a guy who understands the value of the upgrades that you've done to it and realizes that, hey, this thing is all set up the way I want it. I'm not going to have to put another $300 or $400, $500 into it. I can pay up front and have the rifle done the way I want. Unless, like me and Russ, that we just like piddling and we like doing the upgrades. So I'll buy a cheaper gun and do my own upgrades. That way I don't have to pay somebody for their time to do it. And once you've started doing this stuff and you've done a few times, the AR is really the simplest gun to work on. There's not much to them. If you watch a bunch of videos, you watch a bunch of Brownells, and firearms are never worthless, especially in a zombie apocalypse, right? Right. The currency of the day when the world comes to an end or the world collapses will be lead. If you got ammunition, you're king. So, so pistols, right? We didn't talk a whole lot about pistols. We're talking a little more about rifles. Coming down to doing your pistol. This is a standard bladed brace. Just comes with about every pistol AR out there. This one I did put the folding stock on. That's a superlative. I think is it superlative? Yeah, it's Sylvan. I'm sorry. No, I was saying superlative. It's Sylvan Arms folding adapter. And that's a nice little upgrade. Real easy to do. Uses the standard buffer tube. Just goes between the gun and the buffer tube itself, and gives you a little extension to put in the back of your bolt carrier group for the extra 1.5 inches or so that you've gained here by adding this extension. And this makes a nice little compact gun that fits real nicely in the center console of your truck. So, you've got that bladed brace on there, and you want to upgrade your brace. This is a nice little upgrade I put on this one. This is the Odin Works CQB. Push button, spring loaded. Has 5 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. And the one I started at. So 5 position. You can see I've got a light and laser on this one. This is the Sight Mark. What is this model? I think this is the Low Pro, Sight Mark Low Pro. Got a touchpad on it. I've got a set of iron backup sights on it. This is my little 9mm, and with the ARV SD coming soon. We're gearing up our ARV production. We got the SDs coming real fast, and the side charge is probably coming even faster. We got a little kick in the butt on that one, so the side charge is definitely moved from the back burner to the front burner. I got the patent attorneys dropping off our patent tomorrow for the ARV. Yeah, we got our patent got approved, and they've got the actual book ribbon copy, whatever they call that, and he's going to drop it off tomorrow. So we'll have a little picture taking, and yeah, shortens your measurable distance. Gooberman apocalypse.
The folding stock, right?
What's that?
The folding stock is your. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Measuring?
Right. You always measure from the collapsed distance, the shortest distance. So if you took this, right, versus this, you can see, I don't know if, right, I've got a much shorter distance here because this is its shortest distance when it's folded. This is its shortest distance when it's collapsed. So I've lost 4 or 5 inches here of measurable length with the folder versus a regular collapsible stock like that. So yeah, keeps you extremely legal. Okay, so what else do I got here? I got an upper. If you're wanting to stylize your gun, did you buy a billet lower and you got a forged upper and you're ready to make your gun a little more sleek and stylish? This does the exact same thing as a forged upper. It just looks a little cooler. It's got some sleeker lines. It's got some nicer cuts that are going to mesh better with one, the lower, and then two, if it's designed properly, and usually you get the company that makes the handguard to and then you get that monolithic look, your handguard and your upper matching up and looking nice and sleek together. But there's all kinds of stuff you can do, muzzle devices, triggers. You can buy better bolt carrier groups, enhanced bolt carrier groups versus a stock bolt carrier group. You can buy lighter bolt carrier groups. Are you having trouble with your gun cycling? Do you need a lighter bolt carrier group? Do you need a lighter buffer? Do you need a lighter buffer spring? I start to get all wrapped up in it, and I forget there's just so much you can do. Ambidextrous controls. You can put ambidextrous mag release and bolt release, and these different attachments that allow you to use use either hand, left or right. Ambidextrous safety switch, extended charge handles. You got a mil-spec charge handle. Sometimes it's hard to put a scope on. Let me see if I got one down here now. If you put a scope on something like this and the scope sits back because of the eye relief, sometimes it's hard to get underneath here and grab a hold of your charging handle. So they make extended charging handles that have real long arms on them, and you can get underneath there and grab a hold of it real quick. I like that, especially on a scoped gun. There's a cool little handguard, huh? For all the deer hunters out there. That's our deer track handguard. And that's the kind of stuff too. It's not, it's not really a functional upgrade. It's a style upgrade, right? It's how cool do you want to make it look? What are your, maybe you're making a theme gun. You're making a deer hunting rifle, and that's a perfect thing for a deer hunting rifle. Cerakoting. Cerakoting's a great upgrade. Everybody has a black gun. and now Ceratoders are everywhere, right? You go outside and throw a stone, you could probably find a Ceratoder. We have one just 20-30 minutes away. It does our stuff for us, does a great job. You can get a complete rifle done, single color, for a couple $100. You start getting into multiple colors, doing some different stuff, $300 or $400. Kind of one of them things that the sky's the limit. Where's your imagination taking you, and what are you doing? I got a couple of Cerakoted. We carry some Cerakoted options on the shelf: OD green, flat dark earth, tungsten, and we carry pink, but pink hasn't really been a big seller. Even the girls don't want a pink gun. Yeah. Can't use semi-autos in Pennsylvania for hunting. I think for like varmints and stuff like that you can, but you can't use them for big game. Not allowed to use them for deer hunting. I imagine that's going to change before too long. They're letting a lot of things come into play now in Pennsylvania that you could never use a crossbow in Pennsylvania, and a few years ago they started allowing crossbows, and now they're allowing in the special regs area down around Pittsburgh and that, I understand they're letting you use the straight-walled rifle cartridges now instead of just slug guns. So a lot of things are starting to happen in Pennsylvania. They're starting to come into the modern era. Just in the past few years, they've actually started allowing some occasional Sundays. You could never hunt on Sunday in Pennsylvania. Yeah, right. They don't want to interfere with the Steelers season. Got to have those guys in there, right? Actually, it dates back a long way. I think what they called like blue laws or something. You couldn't drink on Sunday, and you had to go to church on Sunday, and you couldn't you couldn't hunt on Sunday, and you didn't work on Sunday. Sunday was a Sabbath day, so you had all these rules around the religious aspect of the day versus the social. Right? It wasn't about social things. It wasn't about things that you wanted to do. It was about things you had to do, and they almost always wrapped around the church. So it goes back a long way to what I think what they called them was blue laws. Yeah, football season kicks off this week. Yes, sir. Here we got. They still haven't named the starter for the Steelers yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Trubisky. Yeah. Yep. And then 22nd, Thursday night, first Steelers-Browns game. We're having a big to-do out at the campground. They're bringing out the big screen TV. Going to have a bunch of food set out. We're going to have kind of a tailgate party. So I'll be staying there that night instead of trying to drive back home. I'll just stay at the going down. Yeah, we'll see. You guys don't have a quarterback. Of course, we don't really either. Now that Ben retired. Yeah. Kenny Pickett. There'll be a bet. I'm making a bet. I'm making a prediction. He'll be a starter. He'll be starting before the season's over. Right. Kenny Pickett will be the starter before the season's over. You watch. I'm ready for football. I put all the politics aside and then the whole kneeling thing and whatever. I'm like, you know what? If I didn't watch, or it's like going to concerts, right? You go to these musical performers and they start spouting off their politics, and you know what? If I didn't go see or watch anything or anybody that I didn't agree with politically, I'd be a hermit. I'd probably never leave the house and never go do or see anything. So, yeah, I just kind of put all that stuff aside and I go and enjoy the game for what it is. And if, somebody's kneeling and I don't like it, I just don't look at it. That's it. I might tell you I don't like it too, but I'm not going to do a whole lot about it. I'm not going to stop watching football because a couple guys do what they do. Right? Like, take what you need and leave the rest. So, kind of same way with guns, right? Take what you need, leave the rest. So, and remember, when you're doing your upgrades, you're always going to have spare parts left over. And if you're not planning on building another gun or doing stuff with them, our friend Russ can always use parts. I think, 2 here in the last month, Russ, you've delivered. I've been watching the videos. The young lady that got her rifle, and then the AR-10 that just got done for the veterans program. Russ builds rifles for disabled American veterans and then gets them to them. And kind of a cool thing to watch. Some of the videos are pretty emotional. The guys get pretty emotional, and the videos are worth watching. They'll bring a little tear to your eye once in a while. Howie Long. Who's Howie Long? Oh, the football guy, Howie Long. Okay. Couldn't believe it from the... Yeah. I knew that name. I'm thinking Howie Mandel from America's Got Talent. Yeah. Florida last week and one more this... Okay, the AR-10's going this weekend then? Oh, that's at the Band of Brothers event, right? You're doing that Band of Brothers event, and that rifle will be presented at that event. So, yeah. Get a hold of Russ. He's always on the page here. Check out Marksman for Vets on Facebook. And if you've got gently used parts and even some new parts that you haven't, we all buy stuff. And then next thing you know, 2 years later, you're like, oh, yeah, look at that. I haven't even taken it out of the package yet. Russ is always willing to take parts for his projects. And it's a good cause. It's not... It's going to go to a good place and it's going to get done. I promise you that. Russ does what he says he's going to do with the stuff. So, yeah. Okay, upgrades. Get out there and upgrade your AR. Have fun with it. Stylize it. Make it your own. Always watch your budget, right? The wife will get after you if you don't watch your budget. You just don't tell her how much. Don't tell her how much it cost. Yeah, I'll get a comment from that. That meme that says, my greatest fear is that when I die, my wife will sell all my guns for what I told her I paid for them. So, yeah, upgrades, get out there, upgrade your rifle. Check us out if you need some stuff. We've always got good stuff. And appreciate you guys being here. We'll see you next week. I'm not sure what we're going to do. We've kind of been going week by week here. We need to get a schedule and get it out there so we know what we're doing a couple weeks in advance. But we'll see you here next week. And remember, you don't have to be an expert to build your own AR, to upgrade it, or maintain it. We're here to help you do that. We'll see you guys next week.